Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and another day, another new trading card game gets announced after all the craziness with, like Lorcana and One Piece, and now we've also gotten Star Wars, which has been out for about a year now. Everybody seems to want to make their own physical trading card game again. It's the flood era of the early 2000s all over again, and this time we are taking a look at the League of Legends card game. So I know these sorts of trailer reactions aren't things I normally do, hence why this is on the other channel, but I think maybe I should start doing these more frequently to kind of give my thoughts, and in this case, I was sort of coerced into doing it because of, just how weird this trailer is. So you can take a look at the trailer yourself. It's free on YouTube, but there are some things I want to break down regarding this game.
We're excited to be bringing a brand new physical TCG, or trading card game, into the world.
Okay, first stop, but I just gotta say, these cards look awful. So I actually don't know that much about League of Legends. My brother-in-law would be the one to ask about that. But I do know at least enough about it that I refer to card games that have battles that take place in like multiple different areas as being lane-based, akin to, the Summoner's Rift standard meta for League of Legends. I know what a jungler is, assuming that's still in the meta, but that's about the extent of my League of Legends knowledge. I have not watched Arcane. I haven't actually played the game. Again, that's the domain of my brother-in-law, and he can have it. But one thing I know about League of Legends is that it has a very distinct aesthetic. It has this, very painterly look. Things look like they've maybe been smeared on with a paint knife, and it has this very sharp contrast that tends towards the darks and the blacks, The characters, both like in their official artwork and in the game, look like they have been painted onto black velvet. It is a very sharp and striking look. So when it came time to finally make a trading card game for it, how are we going to represent that aesthetic? With a basic, boring, bright white card border. Wow, talk about missing the assignment. I mean, I'm sure whoever proposed this look in a board meeting got a standing ovation and a sharp raise, but honestly, this does not really work with the League of Legends design that I am familiar with. It looks more like a Bandai game. That's exactly what this is. It's just a desperate attempt to copy the look of games like Digimon and One Piece. And I've already done a whole diatribe a year ago about how I feel that this particular design does not work for One Piece. It works for League of Legends even less, because with One Piece, you could kind of excuse the bright white borders with the fact that it's based on a comic book, which, are printed onto white paper. But when it comes to League of Legends, a game that, like I said, looks like it is painted onto black velvet, the white border does not really work. It is very clear that this choice was just made to make it look like another game. I mean, if you want to know what I think a good League of Legends card border would look like, take a look at Lightseekers. They are a game that was directly inspired by League of Legends, and they have a unique aesthetic design that I think would work a lot better. It has, the sharp contrast, it has sort of that stony look. This is just an effort to, look like everything else that's popular. It has kind of a fusion of the looks of Digimon and Disney Lorcana. And do you know what neither of those things are? League of Legends. So it's a pretty striking lack of insight into how this sort of game ought to look. Okay, so a little bit after I finished recording the video, I found an actual Chinese trailer that depicts some cards that I think have a bit more of what we were going for. Like, these are cards that have that very sort of painterly, very dark black background I was talking about. However, it looks like these are just going to be the special treatment cards if the hot stamped foil look of the text is any indication. But this honestly should have been the look for the entire game. This much more flatters the sort of dark velvet design of League of Legends. Why didn't they do this with everything? I could not tell you. Also, is that Gwent music I hear playing at the beginning? I mean, that is like the same kind of nickel harp music they have in Witcher 3. And like I said, I don't know League of Legends, but is that specific kind of music like in League of Legends as much as it is in Witcher 3? Anyway, moving on. Okay, so the designers want to stress 3 very important things for you guys about this game. First of all, it's tightly competitive, but can be played in casual multiplayer.
Well, we aimed the game squarely at tryhards like us, who want to sweat it out in competitive 1v1s. Starting Fresh also let us design it from the ground up to support multiplayer.
And then they tell you about how it's highly competitive, but it can also be played in casual multiplayer.
You can play it 1v1 for sure, but I like actually filling the table and having multiple friends be able to play.
And finally, the third big important thing is that it is highly competitive, but if you want, you can play it in casual multiplayer.
It has the ability to be so competitive, but also so, hey, I can just bring my deck over to a friend's house and play with them, when we're just hanging out.
Also, I have to say that it's harsh to say, but oftentimes your game's designers are not the best at selling your game. These guys are very painfully, obviously, reading off of a script, and as a bit of a showman, I do have to stress that maybe this would have been a role better handed over to the actors, which is something, if I recall correctly, League of Legends has. I mean, they could have had an actor and said, "Hi, I am blankety blank. You might also know me as blankety blank from League of Legends, and today I'm here to tell you about this exciting new card game," they say, holding up a card that has a picture of them on it. Hang on, I can actually do that. Hey everybody, I'm Kohdok, though you probably know me better as Kohdok, and this is Wonderwall. There's a card of me, it's so wild. Ah yes, and of course we're also going to have organized play, because, this game is highly competitive, but you can also play it casually with friends.
It means having local game stores promoting the game, regular events for friends to get together, and competitions to show who's the best.
Okay, they're also talking about how they're going to be launching in China before the rest of the world, and I know League of Legends is incredibly popular in China. It's why there are so many games that are like League of Legends that launch in China, like Pokemon Unite and all of that jazz, so not a big surprise there. They're going to be taking pre-orders next year for the English release. I'm pretty sure that their Chinese audience is larger than their English audience, so don't blame them for launching in their biggest market. It's like when a game launches in Japan first. But I gotta say, this trailer did not really tell me anything about this game that I found interesting. They had a bunch of people just kind of rattling off various buzzwords like, tempo, aggro, combo, mid-range, multi, deck out, FTK, whatever, gobbledygook. That's not really going to make much sense to people who are not terribly familiar with card games or that terminology, which is an extremely likely scenario for people who prefer to play the League of Legends game itself. But they did feel the need to stress that the game is both highly competitive and you can play it casually multiplayer. Okay, yeah, this trailer is a disaster. It's poorly acted. It doesn't really tell us much about the game other than the fact that the card game design aesthetic is really, really poor, does not flatter its source material at all, that it's highly competitive, and that you can play casual multiplayer. Woohoo. Could you tell us anything distinct about the game and how it works? And looking at it, it looks like it's just kind of a cheap Magic-alike with the same kinds of resources and summoning rules and all of that, so yeah, I can't say that this really inspires much confidence in me. Maybe it's because I'm not a League of Legends player, but going down the list of the comments, it looks like people are saying that they're not too thrilled with the current aesthetics either, so we'll see if that gets any, sort of last-minute change. But okay, so one more thing I've noticed here is that at first I thought there was 2 different videos, one that was the introductory trailer and another one that was a proper gameplay preview, but it turns out it's 2 copies of the same video, one officially on Riot Games' website and the other one posted by IGN. So we really have no clue as to what the gameplay of this game is outside of the context clues that we can see. And the context clues tells me that it is yet another Magic the Gathering clone, not again. So yeah, that's the look at the League of Legends trading card game reveal trailer. I am not impressed. So good luck to you guys. You're gonna need it.